So coaching doesn't have to be somebody telling you what to do.
No.
It can be somebody who's providing you with the environment to learn, knowing what to manipulate for the level of golfer that you're working with.
Welcome, we are just outside St. Andrews on our way to a constraints-based workshop with Peter Arnott and Graeme McDowall. Really looking forward to this. I was just at their presentation at the World Scientific Congress of Golf where they're talking about their project with the Scottish golf. They're looking at how do you get people to perform really well from the amateur to the pro level. So we're going to dive into this and see what constraint-based coaching is all about.
Okay, so you get to 10 under, the task's finished if you manage to get through 3 further holes, at least still 10 under. Okay? If you take a 3 at any point, the score resets itself to 0 and you go back to the start. Okay, so if you get to 9 under, take 3 to get down, the whole thing starts again at 0. Unless you've chipped in at any point, and that buys you a little
lifeline. So you're allowed 1-3.
Okay, so if you've chipped in, you've bought yourself a little credit there. Is everybody happy with minus 10 as a figure out there? Mm-hmm. Yeah, you all feel that's a reasonable challenge point. So far?
Good, it's difficult.
Is there any emotional stuff going on here that you can relate to the real game?
Yeah, I'm getting frustrated because it's like playing a tournament when you're not really in contention.
Yeah.
Like if you just make the cut in a tournament, maybe.
Yeah.
You're not in contention. You almost kind of go through the motions a little bit, which is what's happened because nobody's really got going.
You're just going through the motions.
Okay. So there is some recognisable emotional stuff going on.
Definitely.
Definitely. So
Well, it's just the disappointment and the frustration. So
yeah. And
dealing with that in large doses because we're not moving on.
You're getting at every hole.
You're not getting excited, but we're doing it. We're failing quite a lot to get the putts.
The intensity looks good, I think. It looks like, when you watch these guys, do they look like they're standing over a putt in a tournament? Does it have the same? It looks the same, doesn't it? Which is what we're trying to create.
So we have different holes here. This is the water barrier you got to hit over. Can't hit a cone unless you add a stroke. Different holes.
The purpose of the game was, the game was a short game area. The purpose of the game was to create pressure, create decision making and create tactical awareness, and we actually put some constraints in there that changed movement. We've moved them towards hitting higher shots or a much tighter space, or there was forced carries in water. The first green was it was a team game, and the first green was there were 6 holes and it was really chaotic, so there was a lot of movement out there, and we purposely designed that game like that so that there's lots of movement, and the guys have to get used to that. We set a score for the guys, so it was 4 under par. Every time the team got a bogey, so each par was a 3, the team got a bogey, they had to put money in the pot, but the whole team had to put money in the pot. So if you were doing poorly on that hole, you potentially costing your team money. If they got to the 4 under number, there was another green set up where they moved to, and they had to get up and down. So par changed to 2 there and had to get up and down for 2 holes in a row. The whole team did. If they got a 3 in any part of that green, they immediately stopped the game. That was it, over, and they started again. And the team that completed the task in the yellow zone collected the money, and Cordy won the money.
Counting how many shots I've hit today. I would never go and practice and hit as many wedges and putts as what I have today. If I was just going to practice my chipping and putting, I'd go for an hour.
At top
mode
in that time as well.
The way I used to practice, if I was going to chip and putt, I'd go for an hour and I'd maybe hit 50 or 60 pitches and 40 or 50 putts, and then go and play golf or go home or whatever. But here we've been doing it since 9:30 this morning. So how many putts and chips?
It's all relevant as well. It's all under pressure, all under, you know.
Yeah, you are trying to focus.
Every shot you hit, you're taking in. You might not realise it, but every shot you hit, you are taking in information.
Yeah.
So coaching doesn't have to be somebody telling you what to do.
No.
It can be somebody who's providing you with the environment to learn.
Course designer.
Yeah, managing the environment, I think you call it.
It's totally environment management.
Yeah, providing the constraints, knowing what to manipulate for the level of golfer that you're working with.
I guess it must be more, or it'll stick more and more powerful if you've learnt it yourself rather than just taking it on board as this is what I have to do. If you've worked it out yourself, then it's going to stick better.
Yeah, sometimes you're going to own that change.
It might not be the same, so if it's the same shot or something we've learned, he might have learned to do it or worked out a different way to do it to me.
Yeah.
Because we just learned out different ways, but it does the same result.
Yeah.
Thoughts on what was the biggest takeaway today?
I think the biggest takeaway for me anyways is the practical part of this. I mean, being able to structure the games in a way so that it doesn't get overcomplicated really struck me as being the biggest gain from today.
What's your thoughts on constraint-based coaching in general?
I mean, in general, I like the idea of this ecological way of learning and trying to challenge people on every aspect of what we experience on the golf course, as opposed to this closed environment on the range where you just get taught to do a certain movement or whatever. So I like this wholeness of the approach. Yeah.
Constraint-based coaching, something more people should look into?
Yeah, definitely. Also with the way that these guys are going, and I hear them talking about being able to use this in technical in the technical learning environment as well, putting constraints on the way you learn how to swing a golf club even. It just makes perfect sense, and so I think we've only probably scratched the surface of what this can do. It feels like that, and it feels like there's a lot more room to be covered in order to get in the goal.
What a fantastic day out learning about constraint-based coaching. It was, we did a little bit of the theory behind it, learning the science behind it, and then going out, having an experience with it, seeing how it's working with players. Graeme and Pete are just doing a fantastic job with this. It was a great workshop. It was awesome to meet the players and the coaches there. And I encourage you to look into this, whether you're a coach or a student. We have 2 podcast episodes actually with them on the Golf Science Lab, How Good Golfers Get Good at Golf, and Constraint-Based Coaching. Highly recommend checking those out so you can kind of learn a little bit more behind this about why they do what they do. I think constraint-based coaching is something that every person needs to look into and needs to incorporate into their learning environment. And every coach needs to realize that the environment they create has a really big impact on the players that they turn out. So looking at this method and maybe changing the way that you do things is something that everyone needs to do. Those 2 podcast episodes, reach out to Graeme and Peter. They're always, they are so willing to share. It's fantastic. So I really enjoyed it. Thanks so much for having me out, guys. Make sure to check out what they're up to.